Welcome to the 2020 Candidate Forum hosted by McMinnville Kiwanis. Many thanks to the Bindery Event Space where I am and McMinnville Community Media who will be making this very pretty and posting it online later. We ask that all participants who are not candidates keep their mics on mute and their cameras off. The McMinnville Kiwanis Club has been improving the lives of children in our community for decades. Each year we invest over $60,000 and countless volunteer hours into the youth of McMinnville. Most notably, we partnered with McMinnville Parks and Rec to bring the first barrier-free park to Yamhill County. This is just one example of many that has made McMinnville a better place for kids. You can find more information on our Facebook page as well as our website, as we are always looking for more members. Today, we are happy to continue a long-standing tradition of holding local candidate forums. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Yay. All right. I'd like to remind you that today, Wednesday, October 28th, is the last day ballots can be mailed. However, you can still drop those off at any of the 15 ballot boxes located across the county. This forum this afternoon features candidates for Yamhill County Treasurer, Paulette Alexandria, and Kris Bledsoe. Thank you, women, both so much for joining us here today. Each candidate will begin with an opening statement limited to 3 minutes. Our moderator questions come from our committee and will focus on applicable policy and relevant issues. So each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer the question, followed by a 1-minute response, and that's optional. If you are viewing virtually and wish to submit a question, I ask that you send it through a private chat to McMinnville Kiwanis, the host, that's me. And then please keep in mind that questions need to be directed to both candidates. And keep your comments respectful if you're using the group chat, and do not attack any candidate or commenter. McMinnville Community Media will be recording this event and airing it on their cable channels as well as their YouTube channel. We will post links as soon as they are available. So we'll begin with opening statements. And so candidates, when it is your turn to speak, you will unmute yourself and you will have the time that I say. So we're going to start with Paulette with your opening statement, and you have 3 minutes.
Hi, my name's Paulette Alexandria, and I'm running for Yamhill County Treasurer. First, I would like to thank the Kiwanis for providing a format like this to present my ideas, credentials, and experience to you all. The Kiwanis have shown versatility and can-do spirit during challenging times to bring this forum to you. Who am I? I'm a neighbor, a person who loves Yamhill County. I have lived in Yamhill County for 8 years and in Oregon for 42 years. I currently live outside of Carlton with my husband, Greg, 4 dogs and 4 horses. We have 5 grown children and 6 grandchildren. I'm not a political activist or a politician. I have no plans to run for office outside of this. My goals are to be the best treasurer for this county for the next 4 years. My educational background includes an MBA from Southern Oregon University, where I graduated with honors, a long background in investment management with Citigroup, years of teaching business at the college level, and I've worked at several corporations at the management level. Our treasurer manages and reports on the financial position of Yamhill County. This position is less than a half-time job, I have been told. The treasurer is not a banker, not an accountant, does not set budget or the direction of the county. The treasurer is an investment manager. Our treasurer manages our liquid assets and reports on the fiscal position of Yamhill County. I also have a long history of community service, board member with Jackson County Consumer Credit Counseling, board member with Marion Soil and Water Conservation District, and a member of the Marion County Planning Commission, and also a member of the Yamhill County Investment Advisory Committee. After our forum today, I believe you will think I am the best and most qualified person to be the treasurer of Yamhill County, and I will be asking for your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next up, Kris, you have 3 minutes for your opening statement.
Thank you for accommodating me by changing this to Zoom. I really appreciate that. I am very involved in Yamhill County and have been for 14 years. And I came here 14 years ago and fell in love with this community. And I immediately decided that what I needed to do was to be part of what makes it great and to serve the citizens of this county and the organizations of this county and to really dig in to this community in a way that I could stay here for the rest of my life. I grew up partially in a town outside of Eugene on a cattle ranch. And I left because of unfortunate circumstances when I was 13 and always wanted to come back. So when I came back in 14 years ago, I was home again. And I really love it here. So my background in those years that I was gone, I worked very hard and got involved with finance. And first, I started out as a bank teller, and that was while I was at University of California at Berkeley. And I found that I had an enjoyment of working with the public and an enjoyment of working with numbers. So I started out at this very entry level. By the time I ended my banking career, which I was in Washington State, I was a vice president of a small savings and loan. And in that capacity, during this period, I was an auditor, I was a lender, I helped manage a portfolio of $100 million deposits. I was responsible for all the compliance issues for the bank, and I managed a large group of lenders. But I also took a brief hiatus because I decided that I needed to learn more about finance, and I became a stockbroker, as we called it then. Now we call it a financial advisor. And I was lucky enough to be hired by a local firm that is known as a bond house, which means that what they did primarily was to issue bonds. And I was trained in an extensive 3-month program to work with bonds, not only selling them, but getting them to market. And it was a tremendous experience and one that I loved tremendously. There's so many things that I have done that have all been financial related that sometimes people find it hard to believe that I could have done all that. Well, I have to tell you, I'm 70 years old, and if you start working when you're 20, that's a long time. So I have been here in the county. I am currently on the investment advisory committee, and I work with Mike Green. Mike Green has endorsed me for the position because he said in his words that I was the most involved and the most apt person on that board since the beginning of his term there. I love it. And we don't have a timer here, do we?
Right. I was just about to say, Kris, you are at time, and I'm going to get papers so I can show you rather than showing my phone.
Yeah.
One moment. Thank you. All right. Okay. So, ladies and our viewers, you will have 2 minutes when I ask a question. I'll try and give you a 60-second warning, and then it'll go down 30, 15, and time. Okay. So we'll start with our first question. You'll have 2 minutes to answer, and I'm happy to repeat any questions, and you'll have an opportunity for a 1-minute rebuttal. And let's see, Kris, you will answer this question first.
Okay.
Let me get my timer readjusted. Most people don't understand the job of county treasurer. What are the job's responsibilities? How do you envision the role? And if you are elected, how would the treasurer's office operate differently than it does now? You have 2 minutes.
A loaded question. Basically, it's a very simple but very complex and demanding position. It is only to manage the investments of the county. We have very strict guidelines in terms of what can be done within that position, and it's investing in short-term bonds, bank CDs, treasuries, and there is the need for the person who's doing that to have a real deep understanding of what's happening in the economy and with the interest rate market. Currently, we're at an all-time low in interest rates. Potential even of having negative interest rates, which would be a real challenge. And so I think that what I would bring to that is really important is a deep understanding of economics, because I do have a degree in economics and I have worked with pricing and economic issues most of my career. The one change that I think needs to happen within the office is no change on the investments. Mike Green has done a really good job on that, but I am concerned as a former bank auditor. I see some opportunities for some things to go astray, and they should be tightened up a little bit. And I also find the reporting that has come out of the Treasurer's office to be, although very accurate, it is sometimes hard for people to understand. So I will redo those reportings. And I also will spend all my time following the markets. And I hope to put together a group of people who are investment professionals for the local cities so that we can share information and that we can form a team to make certain that we all understand the current situation and make certain that my skills help everybody.
Thank you. Paulette, same question to you. You have 2 minutes.
During my 3 years on the Investment Advisory Committee, I observed that Mike Green, how he conducted the job, and I thought he was doing a pretty good job. When I made the decision to run for treasurer, I earned 3 professional certifications that set best practices for public treasurers. It was then that I became aware that Mike Green had adopted some of these best practice standards. So I recognized a little more how he had organized things based on those standards. So I would keep the best practices already in place that he has put together, like the investment policy statement and the investment advisory committee. But I have some things I would change. Number one, I would keep our assets growing, but I would reduce our risk. I think there is too much risk in the portfolio. Number two, I would improve the financial reporting software of the Treasurer's office. We need better software. Number three, I would improve the reports that are given to the public so they could understand our fiscal position more. Number four, I would be available for all crucial budgetary meetings. The Treasurer has been going to these meetings. I would. Number five, I would create an outreach for children, for the children of Yamhill County, both public schools and private schools and homeschool. Anybody that was interested in visit the classroom, talk to the children about fiscal responsibility, planning for the future, personal finance, all that stuff that used to be taught that isn't really taught anymore. And number six, I'd interact with the public and my colleagues with transparency, honor, and kindness. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, reset. All right, for the second question, actually, Kris, you have 1 minute to respond.
Okay, I have recently taken one of the certification courses that Paulette took, and it's for a certified government investment professional, and it's very extensive. Now, one question that I do have is why someone would need to take 3 of the same course just so that they can have more certifications, and that's a little confusing. But they were good courses, and one of the things that they provided us with was the tools to be able to keep up to date on things, and I really appreciated that. And I also have to say that I am currently on the Investment Advisory Board. Paulette did not continue after her 3 years, and so it's of concern to me that somebody who left the Investment Advisory Board and didn't try to get back on now feels that they want to be the treasurer.
Thank you. Paulette, you have 1 minute as well to respond.
Well, I think it's funny that a concern would be somebody takes education or takes classes. I think the more classes you take, the better. And while they were on similar topics, they were all on, they all approached it slightly different, and they had slightly different teachers, so you learned a lot. So I think 3 certifications are good. Second topic is just gossip and innuendo. I have a very full life. I did 1 full term, and I chose not to keep going because I have a lot of things going on in my life. Never thought I'd be the treasurer or be running for the treasurer, but things change. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now we will move on to the next question. And Paulette, you'll answer this one first. Transparency and public interaction have become increasingly more important to voters. How will you communicate important information to ensure that the public is well informed of the work done by the treasurer? You have 2 minutes.
Oh, I'm a big believer in posting things on the internet. And I would do so. I would have a full communication. I'm all about communication in everything I do. So I'll use whatever means I can to communicate, but the internet's the greatest communicator of all. So we'll be posting whatever pertinent information people need to see on the treasurer's site on the county and making an outreach. Thank you.
Thank you. Kris, you have 2 minutes to answer the same question.
Okay. Paulette's right. We need to, not only do we need to get that information on the internet, but it needs to be understandable. And I have been studying Excel so that I am capable of producing the kinds of reports that will be easily read and understood by most people. And I think that is essential. Now, the truth is, most people don't think about the treasurer's position at all. So it may be that nobody actually looks at that. But I think if they want to look at it, it should be there for them and it should be easily understood. And I plan to make certain that I work very, very well and close with the commissioners to make certain that they also know what's happening. One of the things that has happened in the past is a lack of communication between the treasurer's office and the commissioner's office. And I really think we need to improve that so that the level of trust is there from both sides. Paulette mentioned the budget department. Or the budget planning. I would love to be involved in that. I think cash flow management, which is one of the crucial things that the treasurer has to be aware of. They don't do the cash flow management, but I would like to set up and with Excel program out the cash flow as it comes, the ebbs and flows with the tax dollars coming and going and the various big expenses that the county has, and plan that out in such a way that I can bring that and add that to the tools that the commissioners have when they're trying to do the budget planning for the year to come. Thanks.
Thank you. Paulette, you have 1 minute if you wish to respond.
I don't know what else I'd have to add. I mean, the treasurer's position is information sought out by some people, and the information should all be there and understandable. And I will work on improving that, as I said on the last question. That it's on the site, and that we have ways to outreach now on the internet. We'll take advantage of all those. Thank you.
Thank you. Kris, you have 1 minute.
Actually, I think we've pretty well beaten this horse. We both agree that there needs to be an improvement, and I think that either one of us can accomplish this. We will do it in different ways. Mine is more taking numbers and turning them into visuals because I am an artist and I'm a visual person. But I think that in the end result, that the community will be better informed, they will be more comfortable, and they don't, even if they don't look at it, there's always that they can if they need to, and that is just gives people a sense of comfort. The treasurer's position is one of simply going in a room, closing the door, working with numbers, working with investments, interacting with investment professionals, keeping on top of what's going on in the economy nationwide, statewide, local, so that we can anticipate what's going to happen with the interest rate market as well as anybody can. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I will move on to our next question. And Kris, you will answer this one first. What challenges does Yamhill County face, especially in the wake of COVID-19? Will the pandemic change your plan and vision if elected treasurer? You have 2 minutes.
Well, there's a lot of challenges that the community faces and the world faces because of COVID-19. In the position of treasurer, there is no way to influence the monies that come in. The treasurer simply manages those well and makes certain that they understand how COVID affects the markets, and makes certain that they can work with the commissioners to know what's going to happen with the cash flow. We can expect that the tax receipts that come in will be reduced simply because people are not going to be able to pay them. People are going to lose their homes. There's the potential for economic disaster if this continues on is huge. And we need to make certain that our money is accessible and it's safe and that it is well managed. And at this point, that's really, without a magic ball, I can't do more than that. I will follow the state has a great economics report that comes out quarterly that talks about their prediction and what's happening, and I will continue to work with them. Being an economist, that's a very comfortable place for me to be. The Federal Reserve, San Francisco, which is the district that we are in, also produces a number of great publications about what they see and how COVID is affecting the economy, and I will stay on top of that as well. We are just a small cog in a huge, complex economic system. But what happens in that huge economic system makes a great deal of difference to our finances, and I will stay on top of it. I'm very dogged when I do things, and I love digging in and researching and making certain that I know as much as I can before I make decisions.
All right, thank you. I muted myself, sorry. Paulette, same question to you. You have 2 minutes.
Okay. Well, what we're talking about with COVID, not to diminish COVID, because COVID's a serious issue, but in the U.S., from my humble opinion, over the years that I've been managing portfolios and looking at the capital markets, there's always something. There's always the scary thing. There's always what they call an exogenous shock, which is something that nobody ever expected. It comes out of the bushes and, makes the market go a little bit awry, that you have to plan for. And plus interest rates. And right now we're in this horribly low interest rates that I've never seen before. So a professional investment manager learns to ride these waves, learns to manage despite what's going on. What COVID may mean personally to us here in Yamhill County voters is that our revenues at the county will be reduced. All kinds of payments to us will be reduced. So that gives the county the choice of reducing services to you all or charging more money. And nobody wants to do that in a time of negative impacts, because we're all being impacted negatively. So a good treasurer would do the best they can, making the highest yield they can with the lowest amount of risk, so that those incomes help add to our coffers, make money for us so we can keep the level of services happening to Yamhill County. So whether it's COVID or the next thing that comes around the bend, that's what the treasurer is here to do, to soften the blows, to make everything work financially for the county. And that's what I intend to do for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Kris, you have 1 minute if you wish to respond.
No, I'm fine. Thanks.
Okay. So then that pushes us into the next question. And Paulette, let's see, is that right? Yes, you will answer this one first. Some of these are going to be repetitive from what you've discussed already. But please describe your philosophy for the management of the county's investment portfolio and further outline your experience with risk management.
My philosophy starts with explaining why this position matters so much to the county taxpayers. And we were just talking about that. Healthy investments with a strong return mean more money flowing into the coffers of the county, into the general fund. When we have more investment income coming in, we have less need to find revenue elsewhere, especially when the cost of doing business in the county is going up. We have increasing PERS and healthcare liabilities due to COVID. Some of our usual funding streams are low right now. So making sure we have a treasurer who knows how to diversify and protect our investment income is key. I am a steady fiscal conservative with a long track record of success in the financial world. You can trust that the county's investments will be managed with full transparency and with an eye towards protecting us during this volatile time in the economy. And from my experience, almost all times are volatile. My investment philosophy is as follows. The number one goal for a public investment manager is safety. The second goal is liquidity. The third goal is yield. Everybody wants yield, but that's the third goal. That means you should be able to sell your investments or the amount you need at any time without incurring loss in public funds. My philosophy is to select investments within the parameters of our investment policy statement with a focus on safety first, liquidity second, and yield third. And I have a very long career in mitigating risk, or I wouldn't have stayed in the business 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Kris, same question for you. Excuse me, you have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Mitigating risk is a very core piece of managing a loan portfolio. There is nothing that happens in the economy that doesn't affect people's ability to repay loans. So one of the things that I had to develop was the ability to try to assess what was going to affect that ability for them to repay loans, that it were outside of their personal experience, so that we set our rates accordingly and we set our parameters of the loans accordingly, so that we didn't give somebody a 40-year loan on a piece of property that was only going to last for 10 years. It's basic common sense. But we had to do it with large sums of money, and we had to wade through the ups and downs of the real estate market, and the ups and downs of the auto market. So I developed a keen sense, an intuitive, a gut response for what was happening out in the economy in general. And that gave me, and of course I was a stockbroker, an investment professional for many years as well. But the way I invested for my people was very conservative, because I'm very conservative financially. And so we didn't have to worry about the ups and downs of the economy, because we invested for income. I put people in dividend stocks that were solid companies. We invested in good solid bonds, T-bills, CDs even, whatever it took for them to get a constant rate of return that they could count on. And I would do the same thing with the county. I would invest in things that we would not have to be subject to the ups and downs and the volatile swings. But at this point, we are already at zero. Now, Mike has a portfolio that's earning, I think, about 2.75% right now, which is great, but that will be gone soon, and we'll be fighting it out in the market with everybody else to get a return.
Thank you. Sorry, I have a throat tickle. Paulette, you have 1 minute if you wish to respond.
Oh, no, it's fine. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. Then at this point, I'm going to kind of shift. I'm going to check our Kiwanis Facebook page and see if there have been comments there. One moment.
Hey, Sam, this is Christina. We haven't received any questions as far as I've seen.
Okay, thank you. I forgot that you were checking that for me. And I was afraid to open my texts and get distracted. So thank you. All right. So then we're going to move into our closing statements. And so really, drive it home. Please reiterate why you are the best candidate for this position. And we will go, Kris, you will begin with your closing statement first, and you have 3 minutes.
I think we skipped a question, because one of the questions you gave me, I don't think you asked.
I just wanted to say something. I never got anything, so I was not able to prepare for this.
Oh, okay. I am so sorry.
Because I could tell by the way, it was like, oh, she already knew that question was coming. I never received anything. So that's okay. But I just wanted to let you know that I've been at a bit of disadvantage.
I asked some other questions that I didn't know about either. So,
but even, just it's been a little difficult to deal with, but that's okay.
Okay. I apologize. Most of your communications have come from another of our program committee, Heather. And so she was coordinating and setting up everything because it just was easier that way. And then I was here to be the day of moderator.
That's all right.
So thank you both for your flexibility. And I apologize, Ms. Bledsoe, if you felt like you were at a disadvantage. It was not intentional.
I know.
All right. So we are going to begin those closing statements. You each have 3 minutes. Kris, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to Paulette.
Well, I have, as I've said before, I have an extensive education with a BA in economics and the training. I was also in management training with U.S. Bank for 2 years, and I have the bond training and many courses that I have taken, and all of the training that you get on the job, of course, as well. My experience, I've been with many different banks, a couple of different brokerage firms. I started a brokerage department in a bank. I had to train everybody to understand investments, and I used to teach classes for the American Banking Institute about economics and bonds. And so I have the extensive background, but really what matters, I think, at this point is how dedicated I am to the community and how well engaged I am with the community. I have endorsements from Sheriff Lee Vasquez, who's retired, Bob Andrews, who used to be the Newburgh City Mayor, Mike Green, of course, who's the Yamhill County Commissioner, the News Register editorial team, Rick Olson, Yamhill County Commissioner, Casey Kula, Yamhill County Commissioner, Kathy Try, retired Newburgh City Finance Director, who also sits on the investment committee with me, and Murray Paolo, who is the government IT manager. I have received tremendous support, and I thank everybody who has given me that. People who know me know that I'm a person of high integrity, extreme honesty, detail-oriented, and always get the job done. And I think that matters at this point a great deal when you're dealing with basic ethics, when you're the treasurer of the county. And I have great plans. I have The course of a race is a necessary part of being in the position. But what I want to do now is focus on getting ready to actually begin those changes the day after the election. I want to get in there and start working with Mike to learn everything that I need to know from him to make certain the transition goes smoothly. I am just so anxious to get to work, and I have the skills, I have the intellect, I have the aptitude, and I have the community connections, and I am ready and willing to work as your next Yamhill County Treasurer. And I would appreciate it if you would honor me with your vote and help me get in that position so that we can move on to the business of running the finances as opposed to the business of trying to go out and put up large signs all over the county. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Paulette, you have 3 minutes for your closing statement.
Thank you. I'm Paulette Alexandria, and I'm running for Yamhill County Treasurer. Now you know who I am. I'm a neighbor, a person who loves living in the county. I have lived here for 42 years and currently in Carlton. I'm not a political activist nor a politician, and I have no plans to be one. My goal is to be the best treasurer that I can for this county for the next 4 years. My educational background includes an MBA from Southern Oregon University, a long, over 30-year investment management career with Citigroup, years of teaching business at the college level, and a career in management. And I have a long history of giving back to my community. And I have managed this size portfolio before. Our treasurer manages the liquid assets and reports on the financial position of the county. The treasurer is not a banker, it's not an accountant, does not set budget or the direction of the county. The position is nonpartisan. Our treasurer is an investment manager. Our treasurer manages our liquid assets. I am an experienced investment manager who is fiscally conservative and will take care of the assets of Yamhill County with honor, collaboration, and kindness. There's no time for on-the-job training here. Here's why it matters to voters. We need strong returns to help our county budget and to secure our services. Many thanks to the Kiwanis for providing a format like this to present my ideas, credentials, and experiences. An experience to you all. I hope you will think I am the best and most qualified candidate for the treasurer position, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you very much, Yamhill County. Bye-bye.
Wonderful. Thank you. So Paulette Alexandria and Kris Bledsoe, thank you so much for a productive conversation. I know it's awkward. It's very different as we are making do with what we can. As previously stated, the recorded version of this forum will be available by McMinnville Community Media on their cable channels and YouTube. We will be posting links on the McMinnville Kiwanis Facebook page and club website, www.mcminnvillekiwanis.org. I'd like to remind any watchers out there that today, Wednesday, October 28th, is the last day to mail your ballot. However, there are still 15 Dropbox locations across the county, and you can get those in through, 7:59 Tuesday night. And let's see, this concludes our McMinnville Kiwanis Candidate Forum Series for 2020. Thank you again to all of our candidates, McMinnville Community Media, and the Bindery Event Space.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.